guys. Today what you're going to be looking for while I'm reading is how has Gabe and Raymond's relationship changed? Okay, they started out one way. They're ending this chapter in another. Um, you're going to be listening for that. If you're following along, you're going to be looking for that. And then you need to just tell me the differences of like how it was versus how it is now. Okay. Then super simple. You're gonna find me a simile. You guys know exactly what a simile is. If you don't, then you need to come to my office hours. Okay. All right. Here we go. Chapter 4. All right. Gotta get comfy. Here we go. With daylight falling off by more than 10 minutes a day, and the cold attacking as we ran between classes, the dark subarctic winter was approaching, and the menace of it seemed to stretch endlessly ahead. It was early October, and homesickness was going around the boarding school like a bad virus. Okay, so is homesickness an actual virus? No, but they're comparing homesickness to a virus and how fast it spreads, right? We can understand that now. Viruses spread super quick, but so can homesickness. You know, if you miss home that badly, I'm going to talk about how much I miss my home, which then is going to make you miss your home, and it just spreads just as fast, okay? Though they were accustomed to the cold and the darkness, the native kids from all over Canada's north seemed to have almost no immunity to homesickness. A half dozen had already dropped out and gone home. Dropping like flies is how some of the boom kids put it. So if you listen, there's already 2 similes that I've said. I was worried about Raymond. When he looked at things, including me, he didn't really seem to be seeing them. The sadness in his eyes was unmistakable. This gray school and the gray skies were enough to dampen anyone's spirits. I took a walk after school one day and ended up wandering inside the public rink where the school hockey team was practicing. I spotted Raymond up in the stands watching, and I joined him. We didn't say anything for quite a while, and then I asked him how it was going. He said, "Everything's too hard here. Back home, I used to be good at math. But this algebra, I don't get it. I don't see why we have to put letters in with numbers." "I know what you mean," I told him. "I had algebra last year. I thought it was going to kill me. But finally, I got the hang of it. I could show you if you want." "Could you?" he said. And I said, "Sure." We went back to watching the hockey practice. "Are these guys any good?" I asked him. "Some of them are real good." "How come you didn't go out for the team?" "I don't know. I just like to play. At Nahani, we always just get some guys together. People come and go from the game. It's no big deal. Everyone gets to play." "Can't you just get a few guys together and come and play in here on your own?" "It's reserved for clubs and schools and stuff." He looked awfully down to me. I said, "I still haven't even been on skates. You think you could find me a pair of skates and a hockey stick?" "Sure, I guess." "Then what?" "Tomorrow night. Let's see if we can sort of forget to leave when they close up. Maybe play some one-on-one?" "You're kidding." But that's just what we did. As it turned out, there was enough moonlight streaming through the windows that we didn't even need to turn the lights on. Raymond was beautiful, dancing all around the ice with that puck while I was flapping around the rink like a wounded goose, laughing at myself and just trying to keep on my feet. Every time Raymond would slap the puck into the net, I'd yell, "Score!" That smile never left his face the whole time, no sadness in his eyes. It was perfect. We didn't even get caught sneaking back into the dorm. "That was way cool," he said. "Where'd you learn to talk like that?" TV, I guess." I gave him a poke. It'll rot your mind, you know. You read too much. Your head will get too big." "Then what?" His eyebrows lifted way up, then dropped. Explode, I guess." After that, Raymond and I started spending more time together. I helped him with his algebra, and he was picking up on it fast. We found out there was open hockey on Sunday afternoons. I'd sit in the stands and watch him skate circles around guys. People were telling him he should be on the school team. Back in our room, I called him the Great One. I told him he'd have no trouble making the team. He thought that was pretty funny. Sure, Gabe, I'm Wayne Gretzky, like you're a scout for the Edmonton Oilers. Still, you should talk to the coach. Maybe it's not too late to sign up. Maybe next year, he said. Tell you what, I'll go out if you go out. Sure, Raymond. But by the time I'm ready for the school team, you'll be ready to retire after your big career in the NHL. Everything seemed better. I thought he was over the hump. Right before our 3-day weekend at the end of October, I got a call from Clint. He said to meet him at the float plane dock first thing in the morning if I wanted to do some sightseeing. I realized that my father had come through to me, and I was going to get to do some flying. Clint was saying that he hadn't heard where he was flying to yet, but he'd been hired by a Dene council to take a kid and a villager back home. Wear everything you have that's warm, and then some, he was saying. A polar bear would freeze to death inside that airplane, which means it's really, really, really cold. With the memory of my van ride with Clint not all that distant, I'd have liked it better if it had been some other pilot, but then beggars can't be choosers. I never had a chance to talk my flying plan over with Raymond. When I drifted off to sleep, it was past curfew, and he still hadn't showed up. In the morning, I was raring to go. No guts, no glory, I told myself. Raymond had slept right through my alarm and was sleeping so soundly I didn't want to wake him. In a couple of days, I figured I'd be back and could tell him about my big adventure. I remembered Clint's warning and wore all my warm stuff, the thermal underwear, and even the wool trousers instead of my jeans. I stuffed my day pack with a couple of changes of underwear, some spare socks, my huge mittens, and my toothbrush. I left Raymond a note saying I was going flying, pulled on my ski gloves, and hurried through the empty streets, making vapor clouds every time I exhaled. It was 7 a.m., an hour before first daylight. There was a good buildup of ice along the shores of Yellowknife Bay. Clint was already there, fueling the float plane. In a winter flying suit with a fur ruff around the hood. He looked like he was He looked the part of the dashing bush pilot. Hey, Stump, he called. Good to see you dressed warm. Starting to cool off, eh? Hammer's coming down, I agreed. Getting close. You'll know it when you see it. Freeze up on the lakes and rivers is coming any day. And then, the hammer. After this trip, we're switching all the planes from floats to skis. Clint's passengers were supposed to have been ready to go at dawn. He told me about the bush plane as we waited for them. It was a red and white Cessna 185, single prop, 2 seats in the front, 2 close behind. A very small cargo area behind that. Somehow, I'd expected a bigger airplane. Great old plane, Clint said. It'll lift about anything you can stuff into it. Dawn came and went. Other planes were taking off, and Clint was muttering, burning daylight. We went back inside the office where it was warm. Clint glanced at his watch, and I looked at mine. Hey, that's some watch you got there, Clint said. Looks pretty high-tech. Bomb-proof, too, I said proudly. My dad just got it for me. I fished my new pocket knife out and showed him that as well. Clint was impressed with the titanium handle. Never seen one of these before. It's really light, much lighter than a regular pocket knife. 10 o'clock rolled around and still nobody had showed. Clint was muttering to himself now. We went back out to the airplane. Too late to get there today, he said. Can't fly in the dark. Do they think this is a 747? So, where are we going? I asked. Nahanni Butte. I had a sinking feeling. You said you were taking a kid home? And an old man who's been in the hospital. The kid's dropping out of school. What school? Yours. It happens all the time. Just then I looked up and saw a slender old man with a light duffel bag coming toward the ramp. He was squinting as he took a look at the float plane. His hair was as white as a polar bear's fur, and just as thick, though not very long. His skin was a light brown. He was dressed in a cloth parka that looked homemade, and he was wearing tall moccasins that were tied with thongs at the ankle and calf. "Here's one," Clint said, "and here comes the other." It was Raymond, toting that big duffel bag, his hockey stick, and that red electric guitar. So, at the beginning of this chapter, Clint and Raymond were getting along just fine, and then all of a sudden, Raymond's leaving. Talk about that when you answer the question. But yeah, kind of nuts, right? I thought they were getting along just fine, but apparently not. I guess we're gonna see how this plane ride goes. Is Gabe and Raymond, are they gonna argue? Are they gonna fight? Or is it gonna be one of those like awkward silence type of trips? I guess we'll see, right? Okay. All right, guys. Well, whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a good day, good night, good morning, whatever. All right. Peace out. Bye.